Okay, well, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. It's 6:01. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Newfane Selectboard meeting, July 6, 2021. And present here is Katie Johnson Applin, Ann Golob, myself, Angela Sanborn. Via phone, we have Mike Fitzpatrick, and on Zoom, we have Shelley Hubert and Juanetta Powling. Jay Wilson is on Zoom, and Austin from BCTV, and members of the public. Good to have you all here. Thank you for coming. First thing is the additions and amendments to the agenda. Are there any?
I have an amendment. In front of you is the amended minutes for June 21st. I had a spelling error and a date correction. The ones in front of you are the correct ones.
Okay, any other additions or amendments? Hearing none, we'll move forward and go to the approval of the June 21st, 2021 regular meeting minutes.
I would like to just bring up, there's one section of the minutes on page 5 where it says unscheduled members of the public. There's a listing of several people who spoke. The name is in bold and then a couple of words describing what they talked about. I thought that those comments that next to each person's name was just a little bit too brief to really give the feeling of what was being discussed. So I would like to suggest an alternative text, which I can read. Instead of what we have there on page 5, I would recommend just stating a number of members of the public spoke, including Brenda Siegel, Joseph Runge, Dan DeWalt, Deborah Luskin, Bill Martin, Thomas Abbots, Priscilla Cotton. The comments range from support for anti-bias training and interest in taking the class to concern that the training may be interpreted by some town employees as being required. Ann Golob reiterated that the classes are voluntary. No one is monitoring who is or is not taking the class. Brenda Siegel clarified that as town chair of the Democratic Committee, she has been responding and in touch with the Braver Angels request, but said that it is not an appropriate activity as a political committee. So that would be my recommendation for an amendment at this time.
Should we have a motion to put that into the minutes?
I would make such a motion to amend the minutes as stated.
Is there a second?
I will second that. I think we have video recordings of people's actual commentary, and if people want to refer to that, they are more than welcome to do so.
Is there any further discussion on adding that paragraph to the unscheduled members of the public section of the June 21st meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Ayes have it. So we will have one add that to the minutes as an amendment.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
I make such a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the June 21st amended minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 And the ayes have it. Thank you, everyone. Jay, welcome. It's time for your report.
Okay. So Monroe Bridge is now finished. I submitted the paperwork and V-Trans has approved it for reimbursement. So we should be getting $75,000 back shortly. Depot Road box culvert is still awaiting the easement. For the sand salt shed, we're having a meeting next week to get updates on the status. We were finally able to get the ash trees removed from the Beetlestone Hill Cemetery by Wise Oak Tree Service, and they did an excellent job. I had a look at the Newfane Hill Cemetery also that has 3 large dead ash and a large pine branch, and they sent a quote in. I sent in with my report for $3,925. They seem to be about the only one that has the equipment to do it. They put plywood down, and they have a very tiny little tract that can squeeze between the rows in the cemetery. And then they get out there and they can go up 90 feet once they get it set up.
That's great. That's excellent.
They were able to take it down in little pieces, and I just need to know if you want to have the Newfane Hill Cemetery done also while we're in this, or what you want to do.
Is the new,
Now, go Shelley.
sorry, the Newfane Hill Cemetery, is that the old cemetery?
Yes.
The way old one?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the other problem with both of these cemeteries is the stones are so old that branches tend to just shatter the stones.
Yeah.
So it's kind of critical to get the dead stuff out of them.
Are there funds in the budget to do this?
Yeah, we kept extra money in the cemetery budget, and then we can take a little out of trees to get this one done.
Okay. Shelley?
Make a motion, we do it.
All right, there's a motion now on the table. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, further discussion, Shelley?
So how many more cemeteries?
With dead trees, none, but we have, I think, 7 that we take care of, or that the town has to deal with.
So by doing this, we'll have them all done?
As far as dead, dangerous trees, yes.
Awesome. Very good.
All right, any further discussion on the motion to remove the trees from the Newfane Hill Cemetery? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you.
I do have one question though.
Sure.
Okay.
Do we have to remove them from the side of the roads?
The ash trees?
Yeah.
Yes, we're still, nobody's come up with a great plan to do it yet, or how to do it. But yes, so eventually we're gonna have to keep doing that all over town, but we've, and these I don't even think were dead because of the ash borer. These just all seem to be dead in the cemeteries. I don't know why.
It's a dead place.
2 of them had a lot of ants going all the way up through them.
Yeah.
So, so I've submitted the permits for the Route 30 radar signs, and Windham Regional is doing a map to show the locations that we discussed last time. I think that'll be approved fairly easily. The Arch Bridge is scheduled to go out to bid tomorrow. The bid opening will be July 30th. The town is responsible for the detour sign package, and I'll start planning for that. The posts will need to be installed this fall before the ground freezes, and then the signs will get put up in March before they knock down the old bridge.
Yeah.
So I think we can rent all of the stuff from Lafayette that does our guardrail work, so we don't have to buy all the signs that would need to do such a thing.
Great.
I'll talk with them and see what their plan is. And that's it.
Thank you so much for all your hard work and the guys on the crew. Is there a motion to accept the road foreman and commissioners report?
I'll make a motion.
One second.
You have to have a vote on the appropriation for the funds. You did a first and second motion, but you didn't pass
For what?
for moving the
Funds.
trees from the cemetery.
Well, it was a unanimous vote. Everyone voted yes.
So,
That's okay.
I make a motion
To accept it.
the report.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. And now we're moving right along to the administrative assistance report. Juanetta, thank you.
Wait, I think-
Wait, sorry.
Hold on, just a
Shelley,
sec.
sorry. I didn't hear you.
Can I ask that we just go one paragraph at a time and ask questions?
Yes.
Barrows and Fisher recently notified the treasurer, Melissa, that Newfane had not recertified for tax exempt status. Due to the new legislation, towns are now required to file a municipal tax exempt form with commercial vehicles every 2 years to be certified. This allows for fuel deliveries with no sales tax being charged.
Thank you for doing that.
What do we need to do to rectify that?
One that already filled out the forms.
It's already done?
It's
Okay.
already done, yep.
Thank you.
Friday,
What-
June,
So go ahead, Shelley.
Okay, I was just questioning, we have to certify our trucks or their trucks?
Our trucks.
and we have to certify that we're still tax exempt. Even though we're a municipality and it's an assumption, we still have to file with commercial vehicles in Montpelier. It's new legislation.
Okay, gotcha.
Friday, June 25th, I sent a certified letter to the Clarks at Blueberry Circle. I also hand-delivered a copy to the Windham County Sheriffs for their record. On Thursday, July 1st, Animal Control Officer Ashley Pinger introduced herself and got more information on the dog-on-dog attack. I'm impressed with the prompt response and looking forward to working with Ashley as the new Regional Animal Control Officer.
Did you get the,
I have not gotten a certified receipt back yet.
have you gotten the letter that Mark was gonna send with all of the information about them? Is it the MOU?
No.
Can you check in on that tomorrow?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I just sent you an email, Juanetta, regarding a search for the person that we're talking about.
Okay. George
It
LeBrie.
needs,
It just needs a little bit more work on it, but at this point, I don't have information.
Thank you.
yeah,
George LeBrace of the Veterans Group RUCA was here on,
In June.
in June. They are going to be doing their coin drop from 8 to 4:30 on July 10th near the Newfane Common. Please help show your support for our veterans.
That's this coming Saturday?
Saturday should be a good day for it too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
July 1st, the zoning administrator and I were delivered copies of an appeal by Gordon and Jean Bristol filed in environmental court for the natural burial ground on Sunset Lake Road. Nothing more can happen until all of the appeals are finished.
Do you know of a time frame?
I don't yet.
Okay.
For your
and
reference,
it's an appeal for it not to happen?
correct.
Okay.
For your reference, I have attached the email response I received back from one of the partners at Sullivan and Powers regarding a contract for services request that I sent. This was for the auditors.
Mhm.
And they did agree to,
Yes.
the same funds as last year.
Excellent.
Thank you, Juanetta, for doing that.
You're welcome. Today, I did receive in the post, in the mail post, a contract which is a little bit different than what we had agreed on over the email. So it's $800 more than what we had budgeted last year. So my question is, you want me to see if they'll go back to the 16,000? Or,
That's what they said in the email they would, so
Yeah.
I assume it's an administrative error.
I think you should pull up last year's contract and then we'll go from there. We don't have a contract from last year?
it was.
So I would ask for them to send the previous contract that was signed. And if there was any difference in the number, since it was $800 more than what we remember. Correct?
Correct.
So I would just get it in the email and document it and find out.
Okay.
On the last page of my report, there's a form that the treasurer needs for auditing purposes, which needs to be signed by the Selectboard. When we budgeted last December, These are the pay increases. They took effect on July 1st. But we don't have a signed contract for her, or a signed document that shows that it was approved by the board.
So because it was already approved, you just need to sign it.
Correct.
Okay. Mike and Shelley, if you could stop in at some point and sign it, that would be great.
Yeah.
The original is in the dark green folder in front of you.
You can sign that after.
I happened to see a spelling error in David Bertram's name.
Yes.
That needs a correction before we sign anything.
Extra A.
So,
Okay, anything further for the administrative assistance report? No?
That's it.
Is there a motion to accept the report?
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Okay, which one of you?
Katie.
Katie,
Me
second.
this time.
Any further discussion on the administrative assistance report?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Oh, ayes have it. Thank you, Juanetta. And now we will move into our committee reports. And first we have Dave Cotton for the Development Review Board. Thank you for being here tonight. Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Glad to have you.
So the current status of the DRB, we're supposed to have 9 members, 5 regular and 4 alternates. Right now, we have 4 regular members, and that's it. The reason we don't have some of those alternates is people would not show up, would not return, respond to an email. So I said they're not interested. One of the great things we have, besides my good man Walter here, who's our extraordinary secretary, is we have Pete Van Loan, who has been Select Board Chairman, Zoning Administrator, DRB, Planning Commission. So we do have him on board, and we have Lynn Forrest, who is a Planning Commission member on our board as well. I'll probably try to recruit some people through the Front Porch Forum, maybe try to get and see if we can get some people in. It would be wonderful to get an attorney because there's a lot of issues that come up. When I recruited Walter, for an example, and a few other people, I said we have maybe 3 or 4 meetings a year and they're insignificant. Anything that's commercial we have to deal with. And now what we've dealt with is we gave permission to dig for the coffee shop. We gave a okay to the, if you want the specifics, to the green burial ground with conditions. So I haven't really been privy to what Gordon Bristol wrote, so I don't know what he's saying because we gave permission, but there were conditions on that. And so we've had 3 or 4 meetings like that. A lot of them in the past where somebody owns a house on the residential part. They own a house that's 15 feet from the road, which is pretty typical of an older house, and they want to put an addition on it. And they can't do the 65-foot setback, so there's a balancing that we do of what's the hardship, can we allow something like that. The green burial was very, very, I'm not tricky, I don't like to use that word. There's a lot of things going on there that were really hard for us to do because we're interpreting the bylaws that the Planning Commission writes. And coming up on the 20th, I think, we are having a meeting which is going to be an organizational meeting with at least the 4 members. And it's an informational meeting for a person that hasn't submitted an application to Merle, but in the subdivision bylaw, it says that they can request a meeting with the DRB. We're not giving any answers, we're gonna hear what they're talking about and see what's going on there. I don't know if you've heard about that or whether you even wanna hear about what might be happening, but I would strongly ask one of the select board members to show up at that meeting, and I'm not sure if it's something like a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. It'll be a quick organizational meeting, and then we'll listen to this person come in and tell us what they're thinking of doing in the big picture. And then we'll probably say, go back and talk to your zoning administrator. He'll tell you what you need to submit to us, and the more the better. We did a pretty good narrative of what he wanted to do. And then we don't really get involved with state regulations, but on the application for a permit, it does say that you should contact the permit specialist in Springfield to see what other permits you need, Act 250, whatever that might be for septic system. So, like I said, we don't have a lot of applicants that come in. If somebody's doing something residential, it's administratively done, even if it's a garage. In the bylaw, for example, it says somebody can build a garage. It doesn't say a 24 by 24 garage. It could be a 60 by 50 garage, but it says you can build it. Now, if it's in the setback, then it comes to us. But if everything else is cool, then Mo will take care of that. We have zoning in Newfane. Townsend doesn't, Guilford doesn't, Dummerston does. So, and we've had meetings about do we need zoning in town. And I know that some of the folks that said we don't need zoning, I'd say, well, that means that you can put your chicken coop right on the property line, and they get all excited and say, well, that's great. And I said, and your neighbor can do the same thing.
Oh, no.
So we're doing our best. Walter's doing a fantastic job. I'm speaking for him as our secretary and getting information. I have a difficult time because I'm working to contact League of Cities and Towns and to check everything out and see if we're on the right track. So we're doing the best we can with the green burial ground. We brought that whole thing up because it wasn't listed in resource district. So there was now permission to have a green burial ground. So now if somebody comes in and just wants to put a cemetery, is that the same thing as a green burial ground? If somebody wants to do a green burial ground in the village, can they do that? But because it says cemetery, but it doesn't say green burial grounds. So a little bit of that is our interpretation. Definitely call the planning commission to maybe touch base. Having Wynn will be an advantage for us of where we're going here. But again, we're doing the best we can, and I would like to again say that on the 20th, it would be great if one person could show up, and all you have to do is listen to what this person's talking about.
And what time is that meeting? 6 o'clock?
I think it's at 6, yeah.
Here in the,
Yes,
Okay.
we're gonna start trying to do our meetings in person.
okay, well, I'll plan to attend.
Okay.
Thank you, that's my birthday.
Oh, enjoy. Thank you.
And a lot of times, by the way, there probably are numerous residents, whether they're new or not, that don't even know that I'm putting up an outbuilding. They don't even think, do I need a permit for it?
Right.
Or a fence, whatever, you know? And I know there was discussion about the fence on West Street. I'm not gonna get into it too much, but from what I understand, you can put a fence up maximum 6 feet high on your property line.
Without a permit?
Right.
Okay.
Well, you have to get a permit,
Right.
but it's administrative.
Okay.
So, because we had, I'm getting running along, but we had a meeting one time where Bud Piatek, who was on the planning commission, wanted to put a satellite dish, and the people came and said, this is the only place you can get reception, and it was within the setback. And he wanted permission to put his satellite dish in the setback. And the neighbor actually wrote a letter saying, I'd rather that didn't happen. And so we gave him permission to do it because of hardship, some kind of hardship. But I did say if the person doesn't want to look at his satellite dish, he can put a stockade fence right on his property line. So these are some of the things that I've learned over the last 20 years that I've been doing in the planning commission and the DRB. So that's what's going on with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your report and for being here tonight. And next we have Doris with the
Yes.
lister's tax rate.
It's the town's tax.
Town's tax rate. I'm reading off my agenda.
Sounds good.
The town tax rate, thank you.
I think all of you have one of these papers,
Yes.
and I think it's kind of self-explanatory. You see at the top part, the approved expenditures for under the different articles, capital reserve fund, capital needs, and articles 9 through 35 are those. Appropriations. And anticipated revenues. Now, all of this information comes from the town meeting and from your town report. So you get the amount to be raised is $1,544,780. Today, we finalized the number for the grand list, which is there. 2,502,912. So the municipal tax rate, which is what the select board votes on, is 0.6172.
Is that an increase or a decrease?
And down at the bottom,
She doesn't have anything for that.
well, down at the bottom, it'll show what it is for the breakdown for homestead, non-residential, for municipal taxes, 0.6172. And the education tax rate, which is set by the state, is 1.8849, which went down. In the non-residential also went down because you see below there, you see what it was for last year. So Shelley,
Yeah,
the tax rate for the town municipal and education has gone down 10 cents per hundred since
Right.
last year.
Okay.
That's unheard of.
yeah, exactly.
In
But the
the,
other one went up.
in the non-residential, also went down, but not as much.
Do we know why they went down? Or don't look a gift horse in the mouth?
You see attached to that, you see the notice from the education tax rate, they're the ones that said that.
I see.
I was just very surprised when I got that.
Okay.
So is there a motion to accept the municipal tax rate?
So moved.
Second?
I second.
Any further discussion?
You should probably state in the minutes the exact
So it'll be the
rate.
0.6172 would be the new tax rate, municipal tax rate.
Right, that's what the select board says.
Hearing no further conversation, all those in favor say aye.
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 We'll sign that after.
Yes, we'll sign that after.
That's my surprise.
Thank you so much, Doris. That's a great surprise.
It's a great surprise, that's right. Because you never know until the last minute.
That's right. Next, we have Steve Levine from the Williamsville Hall Committee. Good to see you, Steve. Welcome.
It's been a while since we've been here. So first off, we do have a new members list. I'll give a copy to Annette in a minute. I'd like to note that Myra Fassler has resigned from the committee, which is a shame because she's served and done a wonderful job for many years. So I'd like to note that in the minutes of the select board meeting. So thank you, Myra. We do have a new member, which you'll need to approve. Her name is Kate Conway. I don't know how many of you know her.
No.
She's a friend of
No.
the neighbor. She lives on Baker Brook Road. She's a retired teacher at the high school in Brattleboro and the middle school. And for years, she's told me when she retires, she wants to join the committee. So she finally retired in June, and we'd like to present her as a new member of the committee. So when you, I don't know if this is the appropriate time to vote, but I highly recommend her.
Would somebody like to make a motion to approve Kate Conway as part of the Williamsville Hall Committee.
I make such a motion.
I second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Very good.
So approved. Congratulations.
Thank you. Think she'll be a great addition. I don't know if you can replace Myra, but she'll do a wonderful job. So this I need to hand out. Because got enough copies.
Thank you so much.
You can have them.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Got a few loose copies. Back when pre-pandemic, there was talk about getting a building condition assessment done. But I know that hasn't been done, but that would be good to do. So this is my own version of a building condition assessment. And if you go down with it, follow along with me, we have in capital fund, we have $21,607.30. And then I made a list, the only work that's definitely needed is a paint job. And we got a quote, as it says here, all these quotes are 3 to 5 years old. It was $25,000 to $30,000 to do a professional paint job on the building. So that we definitely know needs to be done. Then there are things that we possibly need to have done. One of which is repairing the ceiling in the balcony. Now, at present, the balcony is used by the Rock River players. It's not accessible to the public. What the balcony needs is the ceiling needs to be repaired. Basically, needs to be re-sheetrocked and taped and painted. So I've got quotes a number of years back for doing that work. It's $5,000 to $7,000. But if the public doesn't have access, I don't know if it's really necessary. It doesn't look great, but nobody goes up there. Going along with repairing the ceiling is bolting down the benches. This is according to the state, and fixing the railing in front, raising it.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
As far as you know, is any of the paint lead paint?
Probably. But
So-
I'm not sure.
So if it's peeling, that does become a health issue.
Right. I haven't been up in a while. There are sections where it's old cement board, it's not sheetrock, where it has come down, but it's completely down. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some lead paint in there. But to be truthful, the entire ceiling on the main floor, all those tiles are old asbestos tiles. But the state has approved it because it's clean, it's been painted, and it's not peeling.
Right.
So we're okay there. So if you want to be, to the letter of whatever law, but we're okay. But that's a good point. Maybe it just needs to be done. The Rock River players are using it as their lighting booth, the balcony, and they're storing costumes and things up there. But if we needed to, it would have to be cleared out and repaired. But I guess that would be part of the building condition assessment, I believe. So there's that repair, and then there's.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
so I have a question for Mr. Levine.
Sure. You can call me Steve.
Is the roof leaking at all?
No, it was, but it was repaired.
Okay.
That's on my list. And then there's the chimney. There's a brick chimney that runs from the cellar through the kitchen, up through the main floor in the front of the building, and up through the roof. Now, in the kitchen area, there are places where the plaster, which covers the brick, has been peeling. And the majority of that in that area is fine. Up in the balcony, there's some dicey parts, and then it goes up, through the roof. I don't know, and it hasn't been assessed by a professional, is we don't use it. It will probably never be used. It was it goes through the kitchen, so it was used for the heat for the building and for a cook stove, I imagine. But that's not gonna happen. So the best thing to do, repair it where it's, dicey at this point, or just take it all down. I don't know.
Is it currently being used for exhaust for whatever heating is being?
No, not at all.
Okay.
The, the new boiler that was installed a few years back, it's direct, and it goes through the wall.
Okay, great.
And that, So, and the hot water is supplied by an electric hot water heater in the utility area. So there's no use. So it's a matter of someone looking and saying, well, you're better off replacing it. Because probably in the kitchen area and the balcony, that there probably is lead paint involved there. So that's something that you need. I assume you're going to have this done, this professional building condition assessment at some point. Find somebody and have them go through the place. I mean, this is my own assessment, and I'm not charging. Yeah. Anything I can do to help. So that's one big unknown. As you can see, I have a question mark. And then there's the roof. Now, the roof did have a bad leak a couple of years ago. In front was that large maple tree to the right of the building. It interfered and created a leak. We had it repaired. We got a company from Bellows Falls, I think it was Mallison. They did a great job. Mallison, yeah. And they, from what they could see, they did have a lift. That was the only way they could get access. It seemed good, and they made a few small repairs that they could reach from the front of the building. And they said at the time, from what they could see, they didn't see any other problems. But of course, they were only on the one side. But they also mentioned that if and when we got it painted, the painters would have to get a lift. And they would be happy to come down at that time and use the lift and do a more thorough inspection. So there's that, or we could just hire them to come in and do an inspection. But since that time, which I think was 3 years ago now, there hasn't been any, noticeable leaks at all. So we're hoping that it's in good repair. And that was their, just ground level assessment, was that the roof looked good. It's a slate roof, so that's something that has to be determined. So those are the things that I know of that need fixing. And then I made the list of all the positives about the building, make it feel good. So it's not an old sinkhole, like anything, right? We're putting our money into a good thing. So number one, it's completely ADA compliant. And buildings are. It has a modern energy efficient heating system, which is 3 years old. It has an updated electrical system. And it's updated to state code. It has updated insulation. It has a state-approved fire alarm system. It has a freeze alarm system. All the windows and the doors have been rehabbed so that they open and close properly, and they've also been weatherized for energy efficiency. We have cellular shades for all the windows, and we have some of them are blackout where they're needed. And we have Wi-Fi and landline connection.
Wow.
Not bad.
Oh, great.
And then last but not least, we have a beautiful 100-year-old building used and enjoyed by the entire community. So that's my, so I think it is important that, we get the professional in, and hopefully they won't find much bad news that they're not aware of.
When you say a professional, tell me who this might be. Is this like a kind of a home inspector, or is it a contractor? Who is it?
Well, one of the members on the committee, Dale Stevens, set up at the high school. They got a company in, and he thought the name was Criterion, but he wasn't sure. He's been unavailable. I looked for them online. I couldn't find them.
So they are a home inspection of the buildings as well.
Okay.
I also wondered whether they could get a drone to go over the roof.
Oh.
And you can watch it while they're doing it and stuff.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I don't know if roofers do that now.
So I don't know if leave it to you to find the right person, or I could look and make recommendations or what. But that was, the select board's idea to do this. And I don't know if we really need to do it. We know what we have, but perhaps there are hidden, foundation problems
Right.
Yes.
And this company would come in and look at all of these possible work needed
Yeah.
areas and give you ideas of,
Yeah, that's my understanding, right? They do, from soup to nuts, top to bottom, every system, every castle, structural.
I know they did the home inspection when I bought my house and they were great.
Madam Chair, I would make a recommendation, a motion that we have Mr. Levine there to find a home inspection or like a commercial inspector to look at the building to give us a report. Get several options and then we can make a decision on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate, I appreciate Mr. Levine's work on the building. Thank you. It's very, very nice of you to put so much into it.
We're happy to do it.
absolutely.
And things are, stay tuned because things are going to start happening. At the end of August, we're going to have a community-wide picnic, or depending on the weather, and the dog show will soon follow. Hopefully, we're seeing if we can get senior meals going again.
That's
And,
great.
and keep the hall open again for the winter. There'll be a play in November, so
It's great to see it back open again.
yeah.
It's wonderful. So Shelley made a motion, Mike second, to have Steve Levine find a home/commercial inspector and come back with us with reports, correct?
Yes.
Any further discussion?
I have one or two other items.
Well, we have to vote on our motion.
Yeah, our motion, right.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Ayes have it. Excellent. Continue.
Yes, we'd like to, I don't know if anyone's noticed the beautiful landscaping in front of the building,
Yes, I love it.
which one of our members, Maggie Kemp, has done. And she would love to have an outdoor faucet, which the committee would be happy to pay for from out of the donation fund. So if you approve that, I would get that to happen.
Is there a motion to approve the committee installing an outdoor faucet?
I make such a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Go forth.
Okay. I'll contact Jeff Russ, who hasn't shown up yet. He's the town plumber. So
You have to call
I'll
him 3 times, I found.
3 times?
Yeah. That's just,
One
never
Excellent.
works with just one.
All right, I think that's all I have.
Thank you so much for all your hard work that you guys do on
Thank you, Steve.
the hall.
Can I just ask, this was in our packet, it said Lister, but I didn't know what it was.
They have a calendar.
It's just a list.
The listers, you wanted to know what we do?
Oh,
That's
okay.
what we do, all year long.
It's the listers list.
Got it.
It's a listers list.
Thank you for that.
Thank
That's
you.
great information.
Responsibilities, but, we look at it every week, and say, okay, what do we got to do this week, what do we got to do next?
Excellent.
Thank you, Doris.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome.
Now we are at scheduled members of the public, and we don't have any listed, so we'll move along to unscheduled members of the public. You see we have a wonderful audience this evening. Would anyone like to speak at this time? I'm glad to see so many people here. It's wonderful. And now we will move to old business, and we have Gloria with our Japanese knotweed update / further report
Uh-oh.
with props.
I always have to have props, and so this is about the lease that I brought in. I trust that you as a select board, you have your list that I gave you at the last select board meeting, or was given to you because I couldn't be here. So as we've said, I've said time and time again, and I'm representing Southeastern Vermont Watershed Alliance, and you, the county, support us with our endeavors to keep the waters clean. But Japanese knotweed has been a passion of mine to get rid of and to curb it since the tropical storm Irene. And several times ago, I gave the select board information. And we have Japanese knotweed growing, it's about this high right now on our leach field. And that rhizomes will go down as far as 9 feet, and they'll spread out as much as 23 feet in every direction. So if we do not, you as a select board and the town does not take care of that, you will be replacing your leach field. So I can see dollar figures going through my mind when we talk about that. We also have Japanese knotweed along our roadsides, and it's coming up through the pavement on roadsides, and again, I gave information on that. So my recommendation is that we do something concrete about helping to knock back Japanese knotweed. So this is an example of Japanese knotweed A-stem that I cut on Wiswall Hill Road, and I took up to my house. I tore the leaves off, and then I took all the leaves and I used my own personal, it's a leaf blower mulcher. So it sucked all the leaves up, and I had about 8 of these. And all the leaves are mulched, and I have them in a container, and they will just decay and become good compost. These will dry, it's drying, but I've just placed this in a very easy place off the ground. And once this is dry, this becomes perfectly good to just compost. So my suggestion is several different ways. Jay, you have already approved as a select board for Jay to use a single sickle mower. And if he can mow, I'm not sure he can use his tractor on the leach field. This probably can't be done. But we need to get somebody to cut that off. Jay said to me the other day that instead of getting pallets, because he thinks if we bring pallets there, people are going to come in and they're going to take the pallets. But he has some, he calls it hardware. It's not a hardware cloth that I know of, but they put it underneath pavement. And he has a big roll of that. As long as it's up off from the ground. That's the important thing. So wherever Japanese knotweed is being cut down on your property, it needs to be put up, even a carpet like that, something to keep it off the ground and let it dry. And especially as you're pulling up any of those rhizomes, those come out, they're solid, and it takes a long time for those to dry. And if you toss those in your compost, you're going to have Japanese knotweed coming up in your compost. So my suggestions are, there are many different ways that this is being attacked. If we get, I think it's going to cost the town money and labor, because me, myself, and I with the Watershed Alliance, and I've got a couple of patches that I'm trying to control. But we either need to get somebody who can come in and cut it, and continue to cut it and continue to cut it, because that really is, in the end, the most effective way. You do it year after year, and 6 and 7 years later, it becomes effective. And what it does is it just tires out the rhizomes, and they put out very little energy at that point. So my thought was that if we buy a little lawnmower, and I said a battery operated one just because then I'm not carrying, or somebody's not carrying gas. They have a battery operated Makita 17-inch lawnmower down at Brown and Roberts with $100 off, so you can get it for $399. And once we get it cut off from and taken away from and stacked to dry out on the leach field, then somebody every 2 weeks goes out, because this lawnmower will have a bag to catch all of the debris. And we have a big trash can out there, and you put all of the debris in there, and it just can be controlled that way. Year after year after year, it's going to have to be done. I know that a house on Wiswall Hill Road, across from which I now try to, and that knotweed came from there. They had knotweed come up because they were completely inundated their house. The water came across during Irene, and they had a patch probably about as big as, from David over to Steve and back to here. And they have been cutting that week after week or every 2 weeks during the summer. And I went over about 2 weeks ago and looked, and they had, maybe 5 or 6 shoots that size from having had knotweed up to here. And so it is effective to keep on mowing it. My thought was with mulcher that if you prefer not to do the lawnmower, but you get the mulcher, we'd have to cut off the leaves and just, because this stuff, my mulcher won't even touch it, it just goes, says forget that. But you can get all of the leaves, and for every one of these, you can see it would be easy to just store these rather than having all of, this probably was out to here and up to there and over there, so in terms of size. So there's that way. There's also using a wire mesh, and I have a sample at the corner of Cross Street and West Street where I've done a plot, and I just pulled off some of those. It's coming up through the mesh, and it grows up about that tall, you can easily just knock it off. Have a little patch down by WW on the riverbank that we put in last week, and Watershed Alliance also has a section on Cedar and Sycamore Street in Brattleboro where we're doing that. Mesh, however, costs a lot of money. Every 100 feet is about 100 foot by about 30 or 36 inches at $150. So you've got to start doing the calculations on that. Plus the stakes to put it down cost a lot of money. Another way that has recently been suggested, and a lot of these suggestions come out of a manual that's, and I don't think I gave it to you, but it's the best practices out of New Hampshire. And they suggest that you get it all cleared off nicely. You put some solid black plastic, which eventually I'd want picked up. But then you put on good solid cardboard without any holes in it, and you layer it with newspapers, and then you put mulch on the top of it, and that weight smothers it and keeps it. So again, that's another possible. I was thinking maybe we should do trial plots out here to show what can be done with that. Definitely, if you're, I know some people, I was talking to Chris and WW today, and he said a woman came in and wanted Roundup. And I don't think Roundup is a great idea. I would say, however, if, like with my property, if I had a patch in the middle of 3 acres and it was a patch and I didn't care what I killed around it and it's not going to go down into my water system, go for it.
Right.
Because this is incredibly consistent type of stuff.
Madam Chair.
Shelley.
I know we've been talking about the septic field, the leach field. I would recommend and make a motion that we have the septic field reviewed by a septic service, if this is a concern, and get an assessment done by them regarding the knotweed situation, and we can start planning for how to remedy the knotweed from the septic system, so it's not destroyed. They were destroying the septic system. Because we don't have anyone specifically who is managing the building. It's our responsibility. So I think we should maybe be proactive and get an assessment done on the leach field.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Do we need a professional
There's a
assessment?
second. Now we'll have further discussion.
apologize. Do
That's
we need a professional assessment? We know it's bad.
Well, I would get a professional assessment done, yes.
I wonder
That's
if
my
the knotweed has
recommendation.
already gone into the leach field, into the septic tank itself. You were gonna say something else,
Well,
Bob?
we know that it has potential, how far down it has gone. We do not know,
Right.
but, I would still think that cutting it back, even before you would have a professional assessment, which, I don't think that would cost you megabucks. But to me, there's no sense in waiting, because it can't hurt to stop it, even if
Right.
there is some influence on the septic system.
Can I
I mean,
clarify?
I'm not sure when that was put in, and it should be, reviewed. So if we find some historical documents on when that system was put in,
Maybe Melissa has a pumping bill that she.
No, that's the leach field, it's not our
It's not the septic tank, it's just the leach field.
It's just the field.
So, it is not, Shelley, the tank, it's the field.
no, I'm not saying that, but the whole system, it should probably be assessed. I don't know when it was when it was put in.
When they did this building.
And I think it would be great to have Jay also a part of
Yes.
all of these options, to talk with him.
Now, is that leach field now, is that owned by WW or is that owned by the
No.
That's the
They
town
have their
still.
own-
They got their own right there?
All right,
So,
so,
yeah.
The thing is, you might want to check out, you check your pumps out and stuff. I mean, there's a pump in Allen, right, Jay?
Jay's not with us. He had to go to the fire department for a meeting.
I think that's got the pump for the mound and everything. I mean, they could check the tanks out to make sure it's not coming back into your tanks. And
Right.
as long as it doesn't clog up your lines out on the other end, you're not going to be having a problem in your leach field. I mean, the worst thing, you get a lot of these guys come in there and start hawing around, it could cost the town some pretty serious money,
Okay, so
Yeah.
we have,
If it's not broke, it's probably better off not to fool with it.
but I don't think it's to paw around and do it. I think it's just to look and see if the knotweed has caused any damage yet to the leach field, and get an assessment, and then go forth and remove.
Right.
Yeah, it
Well,
would be,
But
to
saying, you
me,
look in and see your tanks and check at it, I'm sure they're growing back in.
I would do the whole septic system, and get a report done on it.
Okay. Gloria?
well, just, my thought is, I don't know how they check a leach field without having to dig it up.
Right,
Yeah, okay, they have a camera.
That's why we'll leave it to the professionals.
okay,
They should be able to test it.
okay.
Do you know their name?
It's father and son.
Who's that that does it?
Is it
Yeah,
good enough?
they're a father and son in Dummerston, that they run the camera
Yes.
down, it goes through the tank, they can see what's going on, and right through the leach field,
Yeah.
and they can see if anything is growing in around the
Okay.
pipes. Which wouldn't hurt, I mean, it probably is $500 to do
Right.
that. And that wouldn't hurt to see what's the condition of my septic system.
Right.
Yep. I don't know when it was put in.
When we built the building,
So there's a motion on the table. It's been seconded by Mike. Shall we put it to a vote? All those in favor to have the septic system reviewed for any possible damage by the knotweed,
Who
say
will do the
aye.
work?
Well,
In general condition.
the general conditions will get, would you be willing to call Juanetta with the name of that company?
Yes.
What are you getting now? Look at it.
David Cotton has a company in mind that he knows do such.
You got what's his name right down by Maple Valley, Tyler, that's what he does. It's
Is
from
that
our
who you were
septic
thinking of in
system.
Dummerston?
What's his name?
Tyler.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, Brian Tyler does a lot of that.
Oh, yes, yeah, they're excellent. I've had work on my commercial buildings before. But we have to look at the bidding process, anything over some sort of amount,
I believe it's
Right.
2,000.
we have to put it out for bid,
It's over 2,000.
over 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to figure out, like, how much is that gonna cost?
Yeah, he'll tell you what it costs right up front, you know. It's Vermont.
We'll get a night.
David thinks it's about 500 probably.
Uh-huh.
Right.
If that's the case, would you like to add that to your motion that we go ahead and do that?
Yeah, I would.
Yes.
Okay. So the motion was amended to include that if it's $500 to go ahead and have them come check it out. And all those in favor say aye.
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 All right. And as far as your suggestions, I would like to have Jay look at them and then have his input, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
But the longer we go in the
I understand, but
you don't think I've said that before.
but I will have one email him this and have him get in touch with you if that's okay. Is that okay? Is that okay with the board?
Yes.
That's a good thing, yes.
I think they.
Good suggestion.
He's already been supplied that last.
Perfect. So
And Madam Chair, would it be good for me, for Jay to look at that, but for us to be able to interact?
what is the
Sure.
board?
Could
Is
we-
that a good recommendation that Jay and Gloria speak?
Well,
Could we walk out there?
And then they can come back to the board with their comment.
Yeah.
What they
I'd leave it up to Jay.
Okay. You were saying something, Katie?
Oh, I just asked if we could walk out and look at it after the meeting is
Oh,
over.
I was gonna ask.
We
you to go
sure
to a show
can.
and tell. Yeah.
I would like a show and tell.
So thank you so much, and I think we're off to a good start in getting some things done to take care of it, at least the leach field, that is.
Well, that's a start.
And are you still doing adopt a patch of knotweed? And
Yes.
anyone can get in touch with you?
Absolutely.
Great. So if you'd like to adopt a patch of knotweed to take care of, please reach out to Gloria Cristelli. The Newfane COVID-19 restrictions. Juanetta, do you have the update on that for us?
BCTV is fully vaccinated, and with that being said, it is personal choice.
Excellent. Any discussion on that from anyone? And would
When you say personal choice, what do you mean by that?
If you prefer to wear a mask in public, you are welcome to do so.
Oh, okay.
and now we have the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, from Ann. Update with, did Ken
Ken left. The funds, Melissa went through the process and put in for requesting the funds. There will be reporting that we will need to do, which when she was filling out the report, they wanted someone who was a second person who would receive the same information she does. She put my name in. We can change that if people prefer. So I've just been getting the emails that she gets. There will be reports that we'll need to do in the fall. And for the moment, we have completed the process to make the request, and we are waiting to receive the first set of funds, which have been allocated to the town. And hopefully there will be a second set of funds that are the Treasury is allocating to the counties, and then Vermont has to figure out how to allocate from the county to the town. So that's where it stands right now.
Thank you so much for working on that with Melissa.
I'm curious.
Madam Chair?
Katie speaking, and then I'll come to you.
Does Vermont, do we get an extension with the county money because it's so confusing? Like, we were told there's 30 days to get your money but is that just for the townships or is that for the counties as well? And if so, do we have an extension?
That's all being dealt with between the feds and the state, and we just have to wait to be told. So the monies that we've approved are the ones that are coming from, that were allocated for the town. The other monies are not allocated yet. We just have to wait and see what happens.
Okay. Shelley?
Yes, I actually would make a motion to change Ann Golob's name to the admin so that she can disseminate out to the board upon receipt. So it's not held in one person, another person's hand, but it's the admin should be the one that's disseminating the information to the board.
So the alternate after Melissa.
Yes.
Is there a
So
second?
isn't Ann already there?
Yes.
Ann's been attending the meetings and trainings and working with Melissa on it.
Well, I'll do it. She's doing an excellent job, so yeah, I just soon have her, whatever, like Shelley said, have the admin thing, you know what I mean?
Well, it's the board's representative, for the entire board.
The first representative is Melissa.
Right.
Right, but
And the alternative,
the alternate, I think, should go to the admin.
Yeah, however it's working, I think it works good, whatever you want to call it.
But why not?
so are you seconding Shelley's motion? To change it from Ann to Juanetta?
What's that?
Are you seconding Shelley's motion to have it changed from Ann to Juanetta? Or are you saying you want to keep it with Melissa and then Ann?
Oh, I like it with Melissa and Ann pretty well.
Okay, is there a second to Shelley's motion where to change it from Ann to Juanetta? Hearing no second, is there another motion that would like to be made?
I think it's working pretty good the way it is.
Are you making a motion, Mike?
I guess I just did.
Okay, is there a second to Mike's motion?
I will second Mike's motion to maintain as is.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. So it will continue as Melissa with Ann as the alternate. Thank you so much for volunteering your time to that. Okay. Yeah, Shelley I did not hear a vote from Shelley.
Whatever. I just think it's more proper, that's all.
She abstained.
Yes. Moving on, we have new business and nothing listed. So we can go into correspondence.
I'll just mention that, Kate, I see that you're on the phone. I don't know if you wanted to talk to the plans for the Planning Commission, but the Planning Commission has been working very hard to put together 3 meetings to get town people involved in talking about how to use the ARPA monies and how to think about what kinds of updates, changes, et cetera, we want to make in town. So more information will be coming soon. I haven't been at the Planning Commission meetings lately, but I do know that they've been working hard on it and it should be coming together soon. Kate, did you want to add anything? Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
You're on mute. There you go.
Welcome.
Hi, sorry about that. I've had a hard time with reception. I think that sounds about right. I don't know if Ken is still there and wants to add anything, but we are indeed working on that. We'll continue to at this Thursday's meeting. I'm so sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing myself here. And I think the Planning Commission we'll circle back to announce dates on the plans with the rest of the Planning Commission. Thank you, Anne. And thank you all.
That sounds great. Thanks for being here tonight. Is there anything further? All right, we will go into correspondence. The first one is from the First Congregational Church of Newfane, dated June 28th to Dear the Selectboard. The Newfane Congregational Church requests that West Street and Church Street in Newfane, Vermont be closed from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, October 9th, 2021 and Sunday, October 10, 2021 for the 50th Annual Heritage Festival. Thank you for considering our request. Sincerely, Billy Stark, Church Administrator.
Make a motion to accept that.
Yay!
I second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 I hope they can hang their banner across the road again this year too.
Say it again.
Well, hang the
I hope they can hang their banner back across the road this year.
Uh-huh.
State doesn't let you.
Really?
That's the issue?
They'll let you for so many days. It was in the LCT magazine a year ago. You can hold a banner across the road for so many days.
Yeah,
But
There
I'll
is a
double
little
check and make sure.
Thank you. Okay,
It's not enough days.
I feel like I'm missing part of this email.
Right, it starts down there at the bottom and then it should flip over to the next page.
Okay, so the next one, dear town clerks and trust treasurers, our organization Be the Change would like to support your community in creating a pollinator habitat as part of a collective town effort. We ask that you designate an acre of municipal space, school space, or other area currently mowed or unused that you could envision as a dynamic pollinator meadow. Be the Change would provide the seeds, expertise, and potential manpower to foster a successful transformation. We currently have habitat in 25 Vermont towns and only have 226 to go. Please let us know your interest in how we can help. Warmly, Grace Futrell, coordinator for our town pollinator project. That sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I make a motion to select a portion of the land over there on Dover Road that was part of the flood. Right along, I'm not sure what it would be, where the trailers used to be.
That's not an acre.
Across the street might be where the yellow house was. And I would love to see something done with that other than what's happening right now.
It's not
Which
an
is
acre.
nothing.
Yes, Gloria.
Actually, Kate, you're right. We just can't build anything, but a habitat like that would be excellent.
Is it a full acre?
I would be surprised.
Or would it be if it went up the bank? I don't know.
I think there's really two pieces.
There are, yeah, maybe combined there.
Well,
And I would
let's find out.
love to see something done with them other than what's happening right now.
Dan, thank you for coming and being here tonight.
I would just say, even if you can't get a full acre, you can make a huge difference. Even we have a much less than an acre open, and we have a ton of pollinators because we've cultivated wildflowers on purpose. So
Yeah,
even if it's a small bud, you can within a year start to make a difference,
right.
and it'll
Yeah.
build on itself.
That'd be great.
But what do you, it's basically planting flowers, right? Wild seed or flowers. and
Yeah,
whatnot.
milkweed and yarrow and aster and all of the good stuff that comes in usually by itself, but this was a little effort.
Yes.
Are we talking about the lot above Aaron Robinson's house?
Where the Downings and what was previously the Hesses, I'm not sure whose it is
What about
now.
the big lot up above?
That's what I was, yes. The
Right by Aaron Robinson's house.
Yes.
Aaron
Yes.
Robinson has the
That's
great
over an
house, and then
acre
the rest of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yes,
yes,
that house.
yes.
And so,
both of those pieces.
Yes, Lori.
Madam Chair, I think Lynetta should be able to check back on or ask Carol to figure out, because that land we now own.
Right.
So it had to have been an acquisition, even though it was through
Right.
that we should be able to find out its acreage easily. I can let you know as a lister. Oh, that's
Great, we have all
Yay.
kinds of help. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you, Doris.
So Shelley has a motion that we do this on the Dover Road. Is there a second?
I will second that.
And
Heartily.
further discussion?
Second and third.
And once you find out the acreage,
Oh, Doris will tell you.
Doris will tell you, you can contact these folks and let them know.
There's 3 properties there, right? The Downings,
I
the trailer that has the rhododendrons, and then the former Hess. I don't know what the old people who were living there currently are, but
Yeah, if we could get it all done, that would be great.
just to see something done with it.
Because right now it's a lot of knotweed.
It's a lot of yuck, is what it is.
That'd be great.
Unsafely.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 I
Ayes have it, thank you. Next is hello Newfane. I hope you are doing well and staying safe. I'm contacting you on behalf of Native Plant Trust, formerly the New England Wildflower Society. We are a nonprofit plant conservation organization that monitors sensitive plant species in New England. We have contacted you in the past to survey for native plant species that occur on the town of Newfane's property. We want to thank you for the support of our work. We are contacting you again this year because we are interested in securing permission to come back out and just check on the population of tuberculid, sorry if that's wrong, orchid along West River, east of River Road. The surveys would be conducted by our trained volunteer botanists, take approximately 2 to 3 hours, and would not affect the property in any way. We hope the information gathered from this visit will help us to better understand the biology of this sensitive plant species. I can have our surveyor reach out directly to coordinate a date of survey. We are also more than happy to provide you with a copy of our survey findings at the end of the season. Please let me know if you have any questions or would like additional information, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Warm regards, Allison Holmes from the Native Plant Trust. Yes, Shelley.
So I think this came up before and I think we approved it. But we could look back maybe in the minutes. But anyways, I would suggest we do it.
I believe we approved it too, but they needed to speak with, if there was any property they needed to cross that was private property, they needed to speak with the homeowners.
So, have they done that then?
I don't know.
They did not come out for that time when they requested, so that's why they're reaching out to us now.
Okay. So I say we go ahead with it. I make a motion to do it.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And last but not least, from the State of Vermont Agency of Human Services, Field Services Division, June 23rd, 2021, dear Town Manager and/or Select Board Chair, I want to introduce myself as the Agency of Human Services Field Services Director for the Brattleboro and Springfield districts, which include Windham County and Southern Windsor County, and to offer assistance or answer any questions that may come your way from constituents about the work of AHS, its departments, divisions, offices, and programs, as well as help get questions answered that fall outside of the work of AHS. The Brattleboro AHS district includes the following towns and their villages: Athens, Brattleboro, Brookline, Dummerston, Dover, Guilford, Halifax, Jamaica, Marlborough, Newfane, Putney, Somerset, Stratton, Townsend, Vernon, Wardsboro, Westminster, Whitingham, and Wilmington. The Springfield AHS district includes the following towns and their villages: Plymouth, Reading, West Windsor, Windsor, Ludlow, Cavendish, Wethersfield, Baltimore, Weston, Andover, Chester, Springfield, Londonderry, Windham, Grafton, and Rockingham. In addition, my work includes involvement in many issue-oriented coalitions: hunger, homelessness, housing, health, employment, consisting of a broad range of partner organizations. As you consider your COVID-19 recovery needs and town's ARPA federal funding priorities, please consider reaching out to me to engage with these coalitions for more information, data, or needs assessments. Building Bright Futures, each district, Early Childhood Council with statewide advisory role, Child Care Counts for each district, Child Care Strategies to meet employer/family needs, Continuum of Care/Housing Coalition, Homeless/Housing Systems, Hunger Council of the Windham Region, both districts, Hunger/Food/Meals/Nutrition, Integrated Services, which is in Springfield, Programs/Services Across the Lifespan, Southeastern Vermont Accountable Communities for Health, Brattleboro District, Health/Human Services Integration Across the Lifespan, Springfield Health Service Area Community Collaborative, Health Human Services Integration with focus on access and improvement of dental, mental health, substance use services, and access to health care, Windsor Health Service Area, Health Human Services Integration with focus on areas of need identified by Mount Ascutney Hospital and Health Center's Community Health Needs Assessment. Working Communities Challenge Initiative, Springfield, Barriers to Workforce Participation. Thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Sue Grapp, MS, AHS, Field Services Director for the Brattleboro and Springfield districts. So maybe when we get further.
That was the cover letter to the Windham Regional Commission.
Oh, was, okay.
From the Windham Regional Commission to the Select Board, or to the towns, Dear Windham Region Towns and Chartered Villages, here's the latest information you need to know about actions you need to take related to American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funding. Accepting ARPA funds for your municipality, for both towns and villages, it's the municipality's choice to accept the ARPA funding. You can accept it even if you don't know yet how to use it. In the future, if you decide not to use it, you can always send it back without a problem. That's nice. If the municipality chooses not accept the funding, it goes away. The municipality will not be able to request that money at a later date. The municipality, select board, or village trustees will need to pass a simple resolution accepting the funding and appointing a representative. WRC can help you with that. VLCT will be offering guidance on resolution wording, which will be available to you even if you're not a VLCT member. It's a very simple motion, not a heavy lift, but you'll need to warn the meeting. The deadline for certification with the state accepting the money is July 15th. Communications about ARPA from the WRC and VLCT. Vermont's regional planning commissions are partnering with the Vermont League of Cities and Towns to get you the information you need about all aspects of the American Rescue Plan Act funding. We know VLCT is sending information to their member towns. We'll be sending you information as well. We will strive not to duplicate information unnecessarily. However, not all of the communities we serve are VLCT members. To that end, some information we provide you will be repetitive, but we strive to distill the must-know information for you in plain language. We urge you to read the communications you receive from both of us and Lee. How the WRC can assist you. In addition to helping answer questions and connecting you with resources to guide you through the details of ARPA, we can assist you with identifying needs in your community, prioritizing areas of need, and developing projects. The WRC has created an ARPA page that will evolve over time. That page is available here. This page at www.windhamregional.org/news/ARPA-intro. This page includes links to other resources, including the VLCT ARPA page, which is available to everyone. You don't have to be a member to access it. The VLCT page is available at www.VLCT.org/American-Rescue-Plan-information. If you would like any of these websites, please contact one of us. She will make them available. We'd like to note that Katie Buckley, who is formerly the town administrator for the town of Guilford, is the VLCT lead on ARPA. You can reach her at arpa@vlct.org. So that, and then this letter.
So, Madam Chair, just as a reminder that the Windham Regional Commission, I'm a commissioner on it and for the community development. So I would be another resource for the select board.
Great, thank you. So as we go further, it looks like this other letter that I read previously goes with that Sue Graff is available for any help on top of whatever we need with the ARPA funds. And with that, I would like to thank everybody for coming to our meeting tonight, and we are going to head into pay orders, and I hope everybody stays safe and has.
Did everybody sign the sign-up sheet?
Oh, and there's a sign-up sheet floating around back there, so if you're here, please sign it, that would be great.
And then you're going to.
And then we'll go outside.
Thank you very much for all you do for us.
Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate all of you being here, and I look forward to seeing you at many more meetings. Have a great night.